Welcome everyone to the Spotlight stage. Thank you guys for taking time. We're going to get right into it, and the next presentation is going to be about the SAS Viya Workbench. So if you've come to listen and see the SAS Viya Workbench, you're in store for a great presentation between Alice and Joseph. Probably be some cutting some jokes and stuff in between, but get ready and enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me okay? Nope? All right. Hopefully it's a little bit better. Oh, great. There we go. So thank you for joining us in our 20 minutes that we have today to talk about what's new with Viya Workbench, either what's available now or what is coming soon. So yes, I'm Alice McClure. I head up a portion of our product marketing organization at SAS, and you all should probably be pretty familiar with this guy who's had a busy morning on the main stage.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Henry. I've been the lead developer on Workbench for the last 2 years. So really excited to be here, Alice.
Awesome. So we're excited. Joseph is going to be sharing some demonstrations as we go with some of these new features. So we're excited. So let's just get into it, shall we? So it's been a year. It's been a year since we have launched Workbench into market. And over the past year, we have heard a lot, frankly, of positive feedback about this is the kind of innovation that our customers expect from SAS, the kind of development environment that you expect to see. Now, certainly there's been some constructive feedback as part of it being a year into market. And Joseph, do you want to talk a little bit more of some of that feedback that we've heard?
So like Alice said, it's been about 9 months since we've been live, and the feedback has been a lot, right? So actually, the majority of the initial feedback we got was things that weren't there. And a lot of the features we're showing today are kind of a culmination of what we've done to address the gaps in what our customers had seen in the product. Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, we listen to what you guys say, right? We're not building this for ourselves, we're building it for you. So let us know what you think and what's not there, and we'll get on it. The other thing that customers really like is that the ease and productivity they get from Workbench is just really, really good. Like, who likes running kubectl commands? No, nobody? Okay, I was going to recommend betterhelp.com if you did. But yeah, no one likes to go to the command line. No one likes to use the terminal. Workbench is a point and click, open up a development environment and just get working. I like to say it's the single fastest zero to cowboy hat environment in the world.
There's a joke.
Okay, I write my own jokes. So, but yeah, so another thing I'd like to say is that Jared kind of had mentioned that this kind of came up from the ground, like a kind of a grassroots project. And one of the reasons why I was so passionate about it is because when I was developing this, I really wanted to use it myself. This is one of the tools that I'm like, there is so much potential here because I want to use it every day. And he said it's made by developers for developers, and that is the kind of one of the principles we've taken through development of this platform.
Yeah, no, thank you, Joseph, for that. These 4 words on this slide, I think really, we were trying to think of what's the totality of the ultimate value that we're looking for you to derive from Workbench, and it is about that increased productivity and the performance of Workbench in and of itself, along with the convenience of it being truly a spin-up and spin-down environment to help you save on cloud costs. And frankly, it's also an environment that packs the analytical punch that you expect to see from SAS. So as we get into what's new, as these words pop up on the slide, so this is what we're going to be taking you through in our short time today. And there's a theme to these new features when you look across cloud infrastructure and the flexibility with the cloud platform deployment. When you look at the SAS language, the Python language, and overall, the languages that we're providing to you within the Workbench environment and the depth of analytics therein. We're also going to be sharing new capabilities by way of collaboration, with performance improvements, with storage improvements, and also we launched, just a couple of months ago, we launched a Workbench offering for our academic community as well. Okay? So let's talk a little bit more about flexible infrastructure. So you heard on the main stage, if you were there this morning, you heard that when we first launched Workbench into market, we launched on Azure. And this was really a decision that was made at the outset of the launch because that was the inbound demand that we had from our customers who were looking for this kind of product. Okay? So we launched on Workbench a year ago. We launched on AWS a year ago. And now we are looking to launch on Azure as well, so provide you that flexibility. We are in preview starting now. The Workbench booth is right there. Talk to the gentleman, including Joseph at the Workbench booth, about getting into that preview program if that is something that interests you, if you're an Azure shop. Okay? So this is coming soon, launching later this year, and we will also therein be on the Azure Marketplace to go with it. All right, so back to AWS. So like we said, we're on AWS, and over the past year, we have made a huge investment in expanding our footprint and expanding the cross-region support for Workbench on AWS. So what is this all about? Well, obviously, if you're a global business, if you have local teams, if you have local data centers, the data sovereignty and enabling data sovereignty and enabling your deployment to be as close to your data as possible is what this is all about. Now, I have to say, our first customers really helped to inform this priority, right? And so as you think about potentially running Workbench on Azure, it's that same level of prioritization where those customers are going to feeding us those requirements to help us make this same ultimate cross-region support, the breadth of it available on Azure as well. Okay? So some improvements from a cloud deployment perspective. Now let's talk about languages and language support. So one of the fundamental values of Workbench is the opportunity to code in the language of your choice, whether that be SAS, of course, whether it be Python, and then, of course, now we're excited, as you heard on the main stage, we are finally making R available as well. So with this R runtime support, you can code from scratch within Workbench using R, or you can bring your existing R code into your Workbench environment as well. Either way. Yep. So we're very excited about this. Now let's talk about the SAS programming language. So how many we have hundreds of procedures, right, available?
Yeah, hundreds of SAS 9 procedures and many, many more VIA procedures that work in the base offering.
Yeah. So for most, maybe many or most of you in the audience, that might be completely sufficient. But there are certain advanced procedures, advanced analytics procedures, right, forecasting, econometrics, optimization that are not available in Workbench today. So we are working on that now. This is a coming soon feature, if you will. So expect this later this year, but we want to make everything that you see on the slide, on the screen, available to you as an option as a Workbench user.
Well, all of that is actually available right now on the Workbench for Learners platform. So like learners can get access to all the advanced features of VIA in a free platform for learners. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. Little teaser, I like it, Joseph. Okay, so let's talk about Python. So we're making big investments, ongoing investments with our Python users and our Python community as well. Joseph, do you want to take it and talk a bit more about this?
Yeah, so last year when we launched Workbench, we added the SAS Viya Python library. Okay, this gave you access to machine learning models from Viya in native Python, right? That was great. It gave you the access to the speed and accuracy you get in SAS Viya algorithms directly in Python. But we are committed to continuing to extend your open source experience with SAS technology. The first thing I'm going to show is that, so SAS has always had really, really rich output display. We're adding that output display natively in Python too. So I'm going to run a PCA model here. That one didn't run. Don't worry, live demos happen, all right? So with just a display of the model details, I can see a lot of information about this. Some is tabular, some is graphical. And all of this can really give you a lot of information about your model, because understanding your model and your data is super important. It's not just about accuracy or error. But as I scroll through here, this is a lot of stuff, right? So one of the things you can do is you can choose what you want to do, what you want to see. So if I just want to see the V plot and I want to export it as a PNG, I can just run this, and now I've got the one little graph that I want to see, and I can export it as a PNG, and I can embed it in Markdown like this. So you can make really rich READMEs or documentation based off SAS output, right? So another thing we're adding is more functionality and features for modeling and data analytics. So the first thing we're going to look at is assess and assess bias and cardinality. Like I said before, understanding your data is extremely important. And let's do all that. And cardinality is no exception, right? So cardinality can really let you see, like isolate individual variables, whether they're categorical or continuous, or whether they don't match a threshold and need to be dropped altogether. And we can also assess that data for bias, right? So let me find where we're doing assess bias here. Like we can say like we have this churn data set, which is churn through employees in any company, because every company experiences churn, right? We can say, is this model good around a certain age group, right? And really quickly we can see, okay, our accuracy is a little bit more than 10%. So I've got 10% plus or minus on an accuracy of 86. So I could be 95% or it could be down to 75%, right? So that means that like maybe our model is a little bit more biased towards a certain age group, right? So understanding your data and your model is very important. We're also adding some more advanced analytics in network analytics. Right, SAS has the fastest network analytics in the world, and we're adding this natively to Python. So with this example, we're just taking recipes and finding the smallest path of common denominators and ingredients, but it shows the speed of actually finding this is extremely impressive. And this isn't just one thing. Like I think it's 19 actions from the Viya action set that's added, and then 8 more coming, I think, this month. So a network analytics package, very hotly requested, but it's not, so another thing that we're adding is not just extensions to the Python language, we're adding customizations to your workbench. Okay, so I'm going to go back out here and stop this and talk about how we can customize our workbench. Stop it here. So I'm going to go to settings, and one thing you'll notice is that I can add, change, and modify environment variables in my environment. It is, ideally, we would have all these features driven through the UI, but that is just not practical on a time basis sometimes, because we release every 2 weeks, okay? So if you need a feature or there's something in a proc that needs to be done, you can modify with an environment variable before we can maybe add a switch in the UI. I can add Python path, I can even change the graphics theme for the ODS we saw earlier. I can change things like, my git commit author. I can trigger SAS functionality, or I can set the timeout to different things. So I can even just change this to dark and show you that the output is now going to be in dark mode by default, then light. Like I said, ideally, if you change your theme in VS Code, it would just automatically do that. That's coming soon, but why stop you from being able to do this? Okay, so just a really nice extra feature. Another thing is that Workbench allows you to add different volumes and resize them. That's really nice, but we only supported one. Now we support multiple volumes. I can even add NFS, which is another hotly demanded thing. People have a lot of data on shared NFS servers. I can just mount this NFS volume that has a bunch of shared data and now use it, okay? Yes, there is a little bit of a visual bug there because it was literally released like 2 weeks ago. But we'll reopen this and I'll show you that I've now mounted a shared NFS drive. I've changed some environment variables. All those will take effect in the relaunch, which happens extremely quickly. So to access this other volume, I can open up a terminal here, and let's go to the top directory. And I can access from the terminal, but terminal access is not people's most favorite thing. I can really just easily just back out here and now see the view of my workspace with both of them here. So I've got all this shared data that my colleagues Joe and Holden have added over the last few weeks, and I can use this. It is running under a shared user, but that is sufficient for most of the use cases now. We are adding OID duplication in the future, but just so you know, that's how it works. Okay. Lastly, okay, second to last, but I want to talk about data backup. Right, so within the volumes here, I have this block storage and I have NFS. I can take snapshots of these volumes now. So I had that volume that had all my examples in it. Let's take a new snapshot. And now I've made a point-in-time copy of that data. But it's not stored in fast block storage. Right? This is in cold storage, so it's much cheaper to store data there. And I can recall it whenever I want. So I can go to the snapshots panel. and I have a volume here that wasn't even on that page. I can say, new volume from Snapshot, give it a name, and create it. And now immediately, or not immediately, but I can use it. So I can create a new workbench here, and now mount that volume that I just restored, click OK. And another thing, I can now open this workbench I just created in Enterprise Guide. Are there any Enterprise Guide users out there? Anybody? Nobody, really? No, come on. Yeah, I see some. Okay, yeah.
There they are.
Yeah, so what I've done is I've spun up a workbench that's a flexible compute. This can be, as many cores as you want, memory or GPUs, and then it's going to prompt me to open an Enterprise Guide on my desktop and then connect to that remote server. This works a lot like the connection to Viya. Casey did a great super demo yesterday on EG. So this is available in EG 8.6, launching in June. And if you buy a copy license for Workbench, you will get a download for Enterprise Guide that can connect to it. So it's available immediately when you purchase. So I'm going to click Add here. And let's go here. And now I can just run SAS code that's on my desktop, right? This is a SAS file that's on my desktop. Just run it. This is a good example, if it works. Okay, because I'm doing data step, I'm doing sgplot, I'm doing proc GLM, GLM select, so I'm doing SAS9 procs, I'm doing Viya procs, all in EG going to a remote server. So I'm saving an A store. There's lots of things here. I can also load up a flow, right? Data flows are extremely powerful. EG was one of the first platforms to introduce low code, no code, and it's still useful today. And a lot of you have flows that have been built, and they can run pretty much as is in Workbench. I mean, there's a few things that won't work, like metadata prompting and things like that. But this is just a simple flow. And if I run it here, I can get a prompt, choose, I want distribution by gender, run this, and it's going to generate a bunch of information. I've got a table now that's my distribution by gender and my output display here. Really simple example, but showing you that I can bring things that worked in SAS9 that just work in Viya Workbench. So this is really cool. We've been working on this for a while. This is actually ready in February, but we were like this close to, so anyways, I'm really happy to bring this to you guys. All right, I've talked for a while. Alice is getting antsy, so let's go back to her.
You can tell when I'm getting antsy. All right, so Joseph just took you through a lot of these new capabilities. And we only have a minute or two, so I just want to wrap this up by saying we talked about Workbench for Learners, kind of referenced it a little bit. So in a nutshell, this is for our academic community, for teachers, for students. And really, this is meant to just enable you to get going and to be able to use these different coding languages in your teaching and in your learning. So it's a standard environment, so it's 2 cores of space and 10 gigabytes of storage. Okay, so this is a standard environment. Like Joseph said, the advanced analytics procs are available to you as well, along with all of the other procedures already available in Workbench. So if you have an academic ID and email address, and if that's where you sit in the world, then make use of this. This is here for you, and it's here now. Okay. So we're wrapping up here. So it's been a heck of a year.
Yes.
Yes. He's been busy, along with our R&D organization as well, of course. So go to the Workbench booth. It's right there. Have a conversation. We can spin up a trial environment for you specific to your environment. You can take part in the preview program for Microsoft Azure. If you have interest in that, talk to those gentlemen now. And make use of the learner's environment if you are in the academic space. Anything else? Any parting thoughts, Joseph?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a salesman. I sold knives for a little while in college. It didn't work. I went into engineering. But I will say, like now, if you're even thinking about this, the price point of this offering is pretty low, right? So now is the time to get in, because I'm telling you right now, if you commit to me, I will commit to you, right? And there's only so many that I can talk on the phone personally to. But like I said, our features have been driven a lot by our initial customers, and I really want you to help drive the next year of features that we do. So please stop by the booth, look into purchasing a license at Workbench, and if you like yearly updates on LinkedIn, follow me, all right?
Thanks, Joseph. Thank you, everyone.
Guys, that was amazing. Hopefully you guys are as excited as that guy, right, and Alice. But I get excited every time I see it, and hopefully you guys are as well. But you guys have been a great audience. We're going to take another break now. You have other sessions to go to, have lunch. But I'm going to put a plug in to come back here at 2:50, where the Spotlight stage starts back up. And if you're into gaming, you're going to see more and hear from our gaming division about what's going on with gaming and analytics and digital twins and all that. So we'll see you back here, or enjoy your afternoon in the other sessions. Thank you.